to the final day of our Mark chapter 10, 3 Minutes in Mark devotional. And it's been a pleasure to go through Mark chapter 10 with you this week. And we are going to finish off with verses 35 through the end, which goes through 52. And the first section we're going to discuss here quickly is 35 through 45. And this is when James and John, who happen to be brothers, ask Jesus if they can sit at the right and the left of him in glory. And you do not. And Christ says to them, "You do not know what you are asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I drink, to be baptized with the baptism which I am to be baptized?" And they said, "We are able." And Jesus said to them, "The cup that I drink, you will drink, and the baptism for which I am baptized, you will be baptized." And so after this, the other disciples began to, it says here, become indignant with James and John. I could see why. I mean, they went and asked Jesus if they can be the ones to sit at the right or left of him in glory. I've read some instances or commentaries that say because James and John are potential or cousins of Jesus, that they were trying to kind of use the family, hey, we're related to you. Others were thinking that they were looking at sitting at the right and left of actually more of seeing Jesus as a political Messiah, so that they would be at the right and left of him when he ruled over Jerusalem. There's a couple different theories on that, but here's the main point I want to get out of this section is what Jesus says at the end of it. And he says, "But Jesus calls to them," this is after the others were indignant, "Jesus called to them and said to them, 'You know that those who are considered rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. But it shall not be so among you. But whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be a slave of all. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many.'" And so I think it's really important to remember that Christ is the ideal servant leader. And when we look at our world today, servant leadership, we don't see it very often. Actually, in the fire service right now, it's kind of becoming a buzzword within the fire service, and people are starting to actually look at servant leadership. They may not call it servant leadership, but when I look at it, I think, that's servant leadership. That's exactly what Christ did. And then the second half, 46 through 52, is when Jesus heals Bartimaeus, the blind beggar. And interestingly enough, Matthew's account and Luke's account both had two blind men that Jesus healed, and in both accounts he touched their eyes and they were healed. In this account, Mark just had Bartimaeus, and Jesus, he didn't actually write down that Jesus touched his eyes. Now, either way, the whole point is Jesus healed him, and it was Bartimaeus' faith that healed him. And so the cool thing about that is God can heal, and we know that. And it's just important to trust and know that no matter what circumstances we are going through, God will heal us. And even if it's not in our fleshly bodies, our earthly bodies, he will heal us in our heavenly bodies.